This is Andrew Jones. You watch On Deck with Tyler.
Welcome into On Deck. I'm Tyler Redmond. As always, make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell for notifications so that you can be notified with everything going on in Major League Baseball and, of course, Braves baseball. Now, the Braves have done a lot in the past few days. There's been a lot of baseball content to be had over the past week or so. First things first, though, I want to talk about the 60-man player pool that the Braves released, just kind of go to the interesting points there. Not necessarily break down the entire thing, but show you kind of what I'm thinking and the key points throughout the list. So first off, the left-handed pitchers. Here, not really any surprises necessarily other than Jared Schuster. If you don't recognize that name, don't be too mad at yourself. He was the first-round draft pick of the Braves this year. It is kind of exciting to already see him in such high standing to be in this pool. The Braves can pull him, obviously, throughout the year. So it is a bit exciting to see him. Maybe he makes an appearance this year. You never know. That's up to the Braves management, and we'll have to go from there. But it is interesting just to see him in this list. Sean Newcomb is another name that will catch your eye here. If you remember, during spring training, he was battling for a spot in the rotation. It always seemed like he was battling Felix Hernandez, but who knows? Maybe he gets a spot in the rotation, proves himself to be a future starter for the Braves and a current starter for the Braves. The other name that obviously you know, Cole Hamels is starting off the year now with everybody else, and we didn't expect that was going to happen had everything gone as planned. So it is interesting to see him in the rotation now. Obviously, it's not a surprise. Braves got him this year, spent good money on him, so he's there. Glad to see him back and healthy. So right-handed pitchers. Now, Ian Anderson is not from the 40-man roster, but we've heard a lot about him in the minors throughout his tenure with the Braves. Seeing him here isn't so much a surprise, but it would be something if he got some time in this year, so we'd have to see it. Now, there's limited time, so I don't think all these guys are going to get time. But with 60 games, you never know when you're going to need an emergency pitcher. That's why I think it's interesting that they put somebody that they have not seen yet and Jared Schuster already on here. You just never know what you're going to get out of these guys. Felix Hernandez is also in this category. Obviously, he's battling for a possible resurgence as well as a roster spot and a spot on the rotation, so we'll have to see how it goes. I've talked a lot about him since the Braves got him a little bit before spring training this year. Talked a lot about him on my videos. You can go check them out. I really would like to see Felix obviously make a resurgence, just as I'm sure a lot of Braves fans would like to see, a lot of baseball fans would like to see. Who knows? Maybe he gets his break this year in a short season. Proves himself, gets him a nice contract next year. Never really know. We're going to move down to the catchers. Now, this is going to, maybe catch your attention a little bit. So, obviously, I think the thought right now for the Braves is that there are two catchers for most of the year is going to be Tyler Flowers and Travis d'Arnaud. Travis d'Arnaud, they spent good money on this year. He's going to be your catcher this year and next year. However, Tyler Flowers' contract runs out at the end of the year. The Braves have prospects that are going to be ready to go by then. Number one being Shea Langoliers. And if you haven't heard that name, you need to go look him up right now. He had a really good spring training. We heard a lot about his pop time and defensively as a catcher. We heard a lot about his arm. Good things there. In 2019 in the minors, he had a .255 batting average, 34 RBIs, and 2 homers. I think it would be really good if he got some time in for the Braves this season. Maybe be an impact player. You never know. The other name that caught my attention, William Contreras. Heard a lot about him too. I think he's the future of the catching position. Probably has some work to do before he makes it up. But I think he is the future of the catching position. And just like Langoliers, it would be interesting to see if he got some time in this year. The outfielders, not a whole lot of surprises here, but obviously the names that are going to stick out to you are going to be Pache and Waters. I've talked about them a lot in spring training, just as I have Felix Hernandez and a lot of these other guys. They're the future of the Braves outfield. I think it's going to be Pache, Acuna, and Waters in the next 2 to 3 years. The Braves have a super crowded outfield, though. You got Ozuna, Markakis, Inciarte, Duvall, Acuna. You have a few all-stars right there, just on top of your head looking at that list. So with that said, there's no telling what the Braves outfield is going to look like throughout the year. Maybe a good thing that the DH came to the National League for the Braves at this time. Just by happenstance, they got it. So who knows? They probably will at some point make an appearance if somebody gets hurt, or if you just never know. In that short of a season, You never know if you're going to make a postseason debut. You really don't know with these two guys, but it is good that they got these guys in the pool. Again, not a surprise. Waters is a non-roster placement here, but you never know. He might get some playing time. So moving on to the infielders. The only one I'm really going to focus on here is going to be Charlie Culberson. Kevin McAlpin, my buddy that I've interviewed a few times on this channel, has talked a lot about Charlie. He's been battling to be back on the Braves. He wants to be a Brave. He's working for less money than he's probably worth. He's, Charlie Clutch. He's he's a good player to have in a pressure situation, which is what you want to have in a postseason situation. So I'm happy to see him included on this pool. I had a feeling he would be here, at least, considered in case of emergency. He played, I want to say, in every position except pitcher. No, take that back. He played in every position except first base and catcher while he's been on the Braves. So just take that into consideration. He'd be really good to have, in the outfield, the infield, really anywhere you needed him. He's got a heck of a fastball too, by the way. But anyway, that's the only name I'm really going to focus there. The Braves still have 4 spots remaining to do it whatever they please. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. I do plan to do more later on today. I'm going to be talking about who the Braves are going to have as a DH possibly, and just kind of take you to the top choices for that. Going to do a tribute for my buddy Adrian Devine. He passed away this past weekend from cancer, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about his history with the Braves and just tell you a little bit about how good of a man he was. So stay tuned for that. Also, throughout this week, plan to see some more Braves content while we got it. I hope you're excited for the season just like I am. To make sure you're up to date with everything going on, make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell for notifications so you can stay up to date. And I'll see you next time on deck.